Okay, so on my business Instagram page, I like to follow other parenting experts. And I say experts because no one's ever really an expert on parenting because parenting is just so individualized. But I just like to see other people's perspectives, especially when they practice in a different field than I do. But as I was scrolling, and sometimes, side note, sometimes when I do scroll and I see some of the advice that's given, I kind of just roll my eyes because yeah, I'm sure I'm not the only one, but I came across this post talking about strategies to use during transitioning from a preferred activity to a lesser preferred activity. And if you are a parent, you know it's hard sometimes. But I looked through the comments on, and I saw a lot of parents kind of complaining about the same thing. So, in the middle of a transition from an activity that your child loves to do to doing something that is not as fun as the activity that they were doing, how often do you guys have to monitor or work through a meltdown or a tantrum? Pretty often, right? So, the thing is there's a lot of parenting advice on when your child is having a meltdown. Tacting or identifying the emotions that they're feeling is supposed to help them work through the transition easier. Now, the problem with this is that there's only so much a child can process, especially in the middle of a tantrum or a meltdown. And you, as a parent, just adding that extra fluff is probably not going to help the situation. Oftentimes, it does make it worse. So not only are you making the situation worse now, while you're tacting or identifying these emotions that you're seeing, you're just making assumptions because just because a child is crying doesn't necessarily mean that they are sad. And we don't want to teach them to identify their emotions only based off of what other people are telling them they feel. And the advice that I like to give in certain situations is find out what is going to work best for your child. One, if they need time to get used to even the idea of a transition, you're probably going to need to prime them more often or more frequently before that transition actually happens. Zoo is up, so I have to wrap up. But the big point that I wanted to make here is the problem with adopting any parenting strategy or parenting style just because of its popularity means that you are, thank you, my glasses, yeah, means that you are not considering the uniqueness of how your child processes information and makes decisions. And this is exactly what I cover in my personality type course that I'm doing starting next week. And the reason why it is so important to really understand how your child's brain works is because you will find or be able to create effective strategies that work for your parenting. And at the end of the day, we just want something that's going to work. We don't want all the fluff. We just want something that's going to work and what's going to have a lasting effect.